Hello, welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 272. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les.
I appreciate your approving nod that I got the number. He's like, you did it correctly this time.
I
Good job. 271 episodes, you totally royally messed it up. But this time, you did good.
You read a lot into a simple nod. So yeah, it's Monday. No, it's not.
Monday.
It's Sunday.
It's Sunday, all day long.
October 25th, 2015. The Dolphins won their game. The Steelers did not.
The Bills didn't either. But I'm digging this football from London. I know you're not a football fan, but they play some games in London, and so they start on Central Time at like 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. So I wake up and there's football on. It's lovely. It's always like not superb games, although today's the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Bills was kind of close after Manuel fumbled like 18 times. But so they're decent games. And it's fun to wake up to football. That's all I got.
If you
So
say
it
so.
starts my crafting early. Like I can sit and knit all day long from 8 a.m. to like late night football. I've got it going on.
Cool.
Anyway,
So this is actually a knitting podcast.
sometimes.
Yeah,
All the time.
sometimes.
Look, I'm actually at the end of the row, so I'm
Okay.
going to go first.
Go ahead. Your rows are much longer than mine. That's a little manic right there.
I'm a little manic about this sweater. I'm just saying, because it's taking me 3 hours to knit an inch, and that's making me a little bit crazy. This is Grace. She's growing. It is a pattern by Jane Richmond. Richmond, yes. I almost said Richardson. So last time I just divided for the sleeves, and now it helps if I'm showing you the right side out. That's why it was looking weird. So there's a stockinette. That's at 8.5 inches right now.
It's beautiful.
And there's the lace at the top. I increased that on the sleeves, but once I tried it on, they're a little bit big. But I'm gonna layer, so I'm not that worried. I am alternating skeins because Leslie told me to do so, and sometimes I listen to the words that come out of her mouth. Not always, but sometimes.
Sometimes.
So I am alternating, which I don't think, like, I didn't alternate up here.
I wouldn't worry so much about it in the lace, but once you get the stockinette, I would.
Yeah, you can't really tell. They're pretty comparable. So I have this much left of 2 balls, and this is Plucky Feet in the Barn Door colorway. There's not much to say. Like, it's taking me forever to knit an inch. It's being knit on size 2.5 needles, 3 millimeters, and it's taking a superbly long period of time. But luckily, I have my awesome Fat Squirrel bag. This is the library bag, and she is redoing orders on this. So if you're interested in this bag, you can head on over to Amy Beth's, the Fat Squirrel,
It's
and
Fat Squirrel
she'll
bag.
have pre-orders up. I think like November 2nd or 3rd or 4th, someday in November, which is coming up shortly. Other things about this sweater, other than the fact I hate it right now, is let's see. It is for my Harry Potter house cup owl, and
Would
that
you say
is.
that it's in and of itself, it's going to be enough that you're not going to have to add anything?
I'm not going to have to add
Originally,
anything.
you thought you might have to add something.
Because I thought I might be knitting it a little bit faster. I'm like the 50% mark, which is due on next Sunday, which is the last day of the month, is it is next Sunday, right?
Yeah.
That's the 31st, right? Awesome. Good, I'll be home. That is, I made you small accidentally. There we go.
I wish it was that easy. Be small.
Awesome. It's due, so the whole body of the sweater has to be done. And then by the end of November, the sleeves and collar and button band have to be done. But when I tried it on, it's a little bit big. So I'm thinking about doing a change request and putting in a zipper instead of the buttons.
That'd be cool, especially if you did like an invisible zipper.
I'm going to block it first and see, before I do the button bands.
I agree. That's a good idea.
Those stitches, I'm going to block it and see how I feel about it. And if it's really too large, then I'll go live with Leslie. But I could layer all the things underneath.
You could.
It could be like the Stay Puft Marshmallow of sweaters. Like, that could be the sweater on top of another sweater. Like the Stay Puft Marshmallow of hand knits.
That just made me think of that episode of Friends where Joey puts on all of his clothes. Like, there's 10 layers of clothes.
That's awesome. So that's the first thing that I'm working on. The second thing I'm working on, which is also in my Amy Beth Sloth bag. Also, she did a pre-order of holiday bags this Friday. Did you guys get some? Did you get one?
Don't need any bags. Love me some Amy Beth. Don't need any bags.
I need all the bags. I may have pre-ordered
If I just don't look, then I cannot buy it.
I got the pajama one because I love my pajamas, and my nieces and I have pajama days. How you can tell that my sister-in-law went to get her hair cut and left my brother in charge of the girls. They never got out of their pajamas yesterday.
Why should you have to if it's a weekend?
Seriously, and you're 6 and 4?
Yeah.
There's no reason, like 3 really, but she'll be 4 soon. There's no reason to get out of pajamas. Pajama days are the best. If I didn't record a podcast on Sundays, I wouldn't get out of my pajamas or shower, probably. So, truth.
No judgment.
Judgment-free zone. So, this is a sock. This is a toe-up sock that is being knit out of Lollipop Yarns Beefcake Base. I cannot remember the colorway. I've lost the little tag that went with it. It also has a little contrast skein that goes with it. The Beefcake is more of like a DK weight, so I'm knitting it on 1.5, 2.5 millimeters. There we go. And I'm knitting these on my Knit Picks needles, which I haven't used in forever, and they keep, that one's good. One of the sides is like kind of wonky. This one. I can pull the cord in and out.
Don't do it.
Whatever. So, I made a little progress on these. I think I was on the black last time, and now I'm on the orange. These are going with me to a 9-hour work meeting tomorrow.
Oh.
9 hours.
Wow.
I'll probably get both socks done, hopefully. I'm going to put in an afterthought. Yeah, I'm going to put in an afterthought, and then do the afterthought heel in the orange. I'm going to try to do it maybe so that it's placed in the white, so it'll be between the 2 orange stripes. Won't that be cool? So it'll be black and white, and there's orange on it. Yeah. But it all depends, because that's a big gap. Yeah. It just depends on where it is when it gets to that point on my foot. So I could, of course, cut and redo, but what's the point in that? So that, like, cut the yarn so I get to that point but then it'd look weird because I'd be skipping. Look weirder than putting the orange stripe randomly.
Yeah. So, it's a lot of effort.
Yeah, let's not do that. So someone forgot to put their phone on mute. That would be me. So that is the other thing. I don't know if I'm going to knit at this meeting or not. It's the superintendent of education, like the head library guy right underneath the superintendent of education for the state is coming to talk to us about our new, like, to all librarians about our new evaluation process. Mm-hmm. So I should probably be good. And
I
can hidden knit, like, underneath the table.
I wouldn't do that. I would be out in the open. Just make sure that you maintain eye contact with him so he knows you're paying attention to him.
Yeah, I maintain eye contact anyways. We'll see. All my coworkers, like, every single person from county office down knows that I knit. The new superintendent might not know that I knit, but he'll learn that pretty quickly.
Oh, he'll learn.
Well, poor Mr. So we have a new superintendent, and Mississippi superintendents are elected. It's a political position. And he came by to visit our school for the very first time on Wednesday, and a transformer had blown outside our school at 6:20. So when I got to school at like 6:25, there were like fire trucks and ambulances, and I was like, this is going to be an interesting day because no one else is there at that point but teachers.
Yeah.
And my boss. So I was like, man, this is gonna be interesting. And so we had no power except for like the emergency lights were on.
Mm-hmm.
And at first we did have a little bit of power, so like half my lights could turn on but not the other half, but they were like flickering, like it looked like I was in a horror movie. It was really cool. And so the kids were already on their way because the buses picked them up and school starts at 7, so they were like already on their way. We couldn't cancel school, so we had school without power, and then like they shut down the power completely so they could work on the transformer, because working on live power grid, I guess, is not a good idea.
Bad plan.
So then we had no power, and it was till like 9 o'clock, but our kids did amazing. Like I have over 1,100 students, and they all were super good. And of course that was the day we were doing makeup pictures. New superintendent was visiting, and we're doing this program called Generation Ready, which is an academic language program. So like 9 people who work for this company as consultants from New York City were coming to observe our teachers. So it was like crazy, but our kids were so well behaved. I was so proud of them. And I was going around and reading ghost stories, as you do when there's no power.
It keeps them interested. I mean...
Oh, it was fun. Actually, I was reading The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. It's one of my favorites. So, anyway, I've been blathering on a lot. I only have 2 whips, but I managed to use like 10 minutes of time up, so...
That is pure talent.
I like to talk. It's awesome. It's your turn, my dear.
Okay, I'm mid-Kitchener. That's why I was not... So I'm working on 2 things, mostly. Also a sweater and a pair of socks.
That's awesome.
Like my bestie, Laura.
We're bestie twinsies.
So I'm working on my Rhinebeck sweater weather socks. The yarn is by Nomadic Yarns.
Yeah.
Or Nomadic Knits.
It's Nomadic Yarns.
Okay.
It sounds like it should be Nomadic Knits, but it's not.
So
I feel like I could be totally wrong now.
I think it's Nomadic Yarns. So I did a true afterthought. I'm in the middle of Kitchenering right now. Side note, cool. I always do the first 2 stitches wrong. Always. And then I have to go back and fix it because I always think, oh no, it's not that way because that's the wrong way because I always mess it up. But that's really the right way, but I don't realize that until I've done it wrong, so.
Because people are often intrigued by your heel enough to look at those first 2 stitches.
I don't want it to be like ugly, and then neat. Like I go back and fix it.
Okay.
Anyway, so I hadn't really touched these since last week. In fact, they never moved from here. Because mostly what I've been working on is... That is not it.
Your sweater.
My sweater, my...
Operation Sweater Chest. We're both working on Operation Sweater Chest sweaters.
Sweaters forever. So before Rhinebeck, I was working on Rolling Rock, which is by Thea Coleman.
Yeah.
Baby Cocktails. And it's gotten so big that none of my project bags are big enough, so it's living in this ridiculous pig bag that Teresa gave me.
If you had an Amy Beth Aaron bag, it would totally fit in there.
It's huge, and it's full of sweater, dude.
It's full of sweater.
Teresa,
like it's full of win, it's full of sweater win.
Look at how my piggies are adorable, aren't they? Shut up. So this was given to me by Teresa at SSK because she knows.
Teresa R. Roberts.
Yep. And this is where I am. I hate knitting sleeves.
I hate knitting the sweater, so we should just trade. I wish we had the same gauge so we could do that.
Yeah. Except I'm knitting this on much bigger needles. Size.
I'm on board with this trade.
5.
I don't know what your problem is.
You'd probably have to go up to like, you're such a loose knitter. Oh, you'd have to go down several needles.
I'd probably go down to 2.5s, just like I am now.
So, I finished the body, but not the sleeves. It's got like a lace back.
Oh, that's super cute.
It hasn't been blocked yet, so it still looks really puckery.
How are you doing on yarn?
I'm good. I have plenty. I have extra, so. I finished the first sleeve, which is just a whole lot of in the round. And I'll explain why I hate knitting sleeves. And it's really, I only hate knitting them when like it's attached to the body still and it's top down, because you have to alternate your yarns, and it's constantly like you're untangling things, and it just makes me crazy pants. So I thought about casting on like a provisional for, you know, whatever the number of stitches is going to be, and then knitting it sort of like a tube and then attaching it, like grafting it. But I would still be twisting, I would still be untangling things. So
I feel like Jasmine of the Knitmore Girls, because she's amazing, like gets a little bit below, like 3 inches below where she does the sleeves on like top down raglans, and then she goes back and knits the sleeves so there's less body of the sweater to move around. I feel like that's a thing.
Maybe. I'll have to ask her. But
she is superbly smart.
Yeah, she is that. And pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So
Her babies are pretty too.
This one with a thumb hole.
Oh, look at you.
So this one will have, so I can wear it like this with the thumb hole. And I did this just once I got to about 1 inch of ribbing, right in the middle of where the 2 knit stitches were. I just started knitting back and forth and slipping that first stitch so that it has a nice clean edge.
Looks great.
And then I joined it back when I was done. So I can wear it like this, or I can just fold it over and just wear it like a normal cuff. So I started the second sleeve today, and it's going, but it's slow going. So it'll probably take me another couple days because I get so bored with it that I have to put it down. It drives me crazy. And then I've got to knit the band. Yeah, the neck and button band.
It's not a button band. It's a...
It is. It's, well, there are buttons, but it's like permanently tacked down. Yeah. But I just put some yarn through it and put it at about where it's going to be to sort of tacked it down so it wasn't a big open gaping thing. So anyway, that's where that is. And I realized...
So is it like you pick up from the bottom and then attach it to the sides as you go up?
You pick up... So the way that it works is you pick up...
I really just wanted you to point to your boobs a lot.
There needs some possibleness. You pick up and you go up on both sides, and then you tack it down right here at the bottom. Like you don't knit on this little bottom section.
Interesting.
Let's see if I can show you.
Looks like a Robin Hood shirt right now.
So it's, yeah, it does. So it's got a flat section down here that you're not going to knit on, but you're going to knit up both sides, ribbing, and then you're going to tack that ribbing down here across this flat part. Oh! Look what you made me do.
You gotta throw stuff to the floor.
So anyway, I'm juggling that. It's too hot on my lap to work on right now. I got
get a TV tray.
My notions pouch just went everywhere, and it's your fault.
It is my fault. I like telepathically moved it, telekinetically moved it with my brain.
Telekinetic.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so that's it. I didn't finish anything, but I have some spinning. But
I want to see your spinning.
Why don't you go first so I can pick up all my notions, because I need some stuff in there.
Okay. So, I am spinning my ladybug. It's in my very messy living room right now. If you are on Periscope, I periscoped about it yesterday, but that'll probably be gone by the time this comes up. I periscoped about what to do with little bits of leftovers, like the hobbledehoy, or no, the patchwork kits from Hello Yarn. So what I'm spinning is hobbledehoy. We went to her booth first at Maryland Sheep and Wool because she was giving away free batlings, or bats. So these are my free bats from Maryland. It's like 1.5 ounces, which is really generous of her. So I spun them up. It was 2 bats, and I am going to chain ply or Navajo ply them. It's the same thing. And that will create a 3-ply of just squishy goodness, and I'm going to knit something out of it. I think I have this pattern for little acorns. So I'll put like a dark brown top, and then I'll have that awesome fun for the acorns. So I think that might happen. I'll probably apply this today. It's been sitting since Friday. And the other thing that I have on my wheel, which is actually physically on my wheel, I have several things on wheels. So I have something to finish on the sidekick before I can finish the other spinning that I had already started pre-Spinzilla. And yes, I could probably take the bobbin off and switch them out, but I'm just going to finish what I have. And then I have nothing on the Shectries right now. I put the Honky Tonk colorway back on the Lendrum to finish that up. I have nothing on the mini spinner right now. And then the thing that I have going on the Ladybug is I started spinning a patchwork kit from Hello Yarn. So Adrienne is amazing, and what she does is when she has odds and ends left over from different fibers, so she'll she'll dye like 2 pounds of fiber or 3 pounds of fiber at a time, but sometimes, there's little bits and bobs that are left over, so she might have like 17 ounces versus 16 ounces. So she divides her segments, her braids, into 4-ounce segments, so she's got that extra ounce. So she saves all those extra little ounces or bits and bobs and sells them together in similar color families as patchwork kits, and they're £1 and they're less than $50. And so I have 2 of those, and I'm going to start spinning them for 2 different blankets. One's going to go into a pop blanket. It's going to be the middle. The pop blanket is by Tin Can Knits, and it's got a colored middle and then a neutral outer edge that makes it into a square. One of them's going to be the colored middle of that, and the other I think is going to go into a 10-stitch blanket that I can add on to for forever. And that's by Frankie Brown, I believe.
And that's a free pattern, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I think the pop blanket is part of a collection, but you can also buy it on its own. Tin Can Knits patterns are wonderful, so that makes me excited. So that's the only spinning that I have going on. I'd love to get another pound done, another half pound done, so I could reach like 5 pounds total for this month, but I don't think it's going to happen because I got to work on the sweater. So that's it for me. What have you been spinning?
Well, a friend has asked me to spin her something, but she mostly uses sock yarn.
Uh-huh.
But she's too nice to ask me to spin her sock yarn because she knows I don't enjoy spinning that thin. So I'm going to do it anyway.
You're so sweet.
Mostly I just like to do the opposite of what she tells me to
do. That's very true.
So what I've been spinning is I got this last Rhinebeck, not 2015 but 2014, when Sarah came to the cabins that we were staying at.
So Sarah of Knitting Color wasn't ending. She was just visiting.
Yes. And so she brought some stuff for us if we wanted to buy it, and I did. And so I got this one called...
She did a trunk show that was literally out of her trunk.
Yep. So I got this one that's called Ain't It Fun? It is merino and silk, but the silk was black, so it was dyed a black color.
Oh, cool.
So it has, so this is the last third. I've spun 2/3, and this is the last third. So I strip it super thin, because if I'm spinning really thin, I need it to already be stripped down. Stop smiling because I'm saying stripped thin.
No, that wasn't even it. I think it's cute that you pre-draft it down so you can spin it down.
It's the only way, because otherwise I just get in a hurry and it ends up getting too thick. Thin is not my default. So I broke down the last
make it work for you.
1.5 ounces into all these little butterflies, bow ties, whatever you want to call them.
When you do that, though, it does change how your
It does. I don't care.
Up. I'm just saying that for people who might not know that.
So I got all these little bow ties or butterflies or however you want to call it.
Super cute.
They are super cute. And little bow ties.
Aww.
So the black is the silk. So I've got 2 bobbins worth spun. I'm spinning this on the mini, mainly because I can spin in bed. And these are on my Acreworks bobbins. The red ones.
That's shocking to me that you have red Acreworks.
Right? I also have an orange one and a green one. And I have a blue one for the matchless.
I have
So
a rainbow for the Lundrum. Literally a rainbow. I got every single one.
at the time, or because now there's like 20 something.
No, I didn't. Like, I got Roji Biv.
Okay.
Literally a rainbow.
So this looks like there's not much on them because these are 8-ounce bobbins, and this is like an ounce and a little each.
Yeah.
So they look empty. It is really thin. I still don't think it's going to be a fingering weight because I just cannot spin that thin. It'll still be a sport weight sock, but I'm still really pumped about seeing how this turns out.
Composition? It's a merino silk?
It's 80 merino, 20 silk.
Okay.
So I'm really pumped to see how these, once it plies,
Gorgeous.
how it's going to look. So
It's going to be absolutely stunning.
That's what I've
And
been
it'll
spinning.
tone it down a little bit in a 3-ply.
Yeah.
You'll see more of the black.
I'm hoping that it ends up looking sort of like a sock blank would with like little like sort of blurs of color together, but really I'll be happy with it once it's done.
It's not for you either, so.
Mm-mm. It's not, so. Look, I finished kitchening my sock. I'm so fancy.
You're amazing.
Now I'll have to pick up stitches for the other one. But we do have a book to review.
We do, and that is The Art of Slip Stitch Knitting. It is Techniques, Stitches, and Projects by...
It's by two authors,
Yes.
Thana Goberstein and Simona Merchandest.
This was sent to us to review from F&W Media, who owns Interweave Press right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it retails for $26.99 US, $29.99 in Canada. It's a really interesting book. I like it from a designer standpoint a whole lot, actually, because what it has is it tells you about slip stitch knitting
Mm-hmm.
and why you would use it to create texture, to create color, to shape, for finishing. But then it does, and it goes through techniques, but then it has actual, like, stitch dictionary type stuff. So it's filled with different stitches and different examples and charts of different different slip stitch patterns, which is really, really interesting. And some are colored, some are not. So
I love that it shows the front and back of the stitches too, because sometimes the back can be a design element if you know what it looks like ahead of time. I find that beneficial.
It doesn't do it for every single one,
right.
But if it's reversible swatch, it does. So like icicles.
Right.
There's the front and then there's the back.
It talks about horizontal slip stitches, vertical, diagonal, and it gives you examples like Laura has already shown, and then it gets into
some patterns that use them.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bordeaux shawl is probably my favorite from the first section. And you can see it uses slip stitches on the main body of the shawl. But it's just really, really pretty. It's a pretty triangle shaped shawl. So, and then it has contrast to it too. It uses Claudia Ham paints, Oh Baby Fingering, wool silk blends of fingering weight. It is 72 inches wide by 35 inches tall, like the spine, and it's on size 8, so it would go fairly fast. Nice clear charts with clear keys.
Mm-hmm.
So really easy to read the pattern. There's tips on the side, so some helpful hints and tips on the side for each pattern. And Interweave always does a great job of photographing more than one picture. But this shawl has, let's see, four different angles, which is a lot on a shawl. So that one really, that's probably my favorite thing in the book. I really like that shawl a whole lot. Although there's a hoodie that I also like. Was
the
there
Chromka hoodie?
Yeah.
Also, we should probably forewarn you, a lot of these patterns, the names are in a different language, so we're going to horribly butcher them. I'm sorry. So yeah, I like this one. It incorporates different types of slip stitches to give it a different effect on the band versus the hem versus the cuffs. And I like that it incorporates these different types of slip stitches to show it off.
Yep, there's nice clear schematics that are very well labeled.
The sizing is good. It goes up to like a 60-inch chest, 57 and something. 57 and
57.
a quarter.
Yep, from a 36.5 all the way up.
So that's
So
pretty good
lots of
sizing.
size options. It tells you how much positive ease you would need
Mm-hmm.
with the zipper, so that's always helpful.
I think the next section is my favorite. It's about the woven slip stitch patterns. And immediately before I even get into the patterns, this picture has really caught my interest. Especially with the way the color is done and how it incorporates those sort of diagonal floats. Already, I want to knit this because I want to see how that works. I want to make something that pretty.
I like the bag especially, the Gobeline bag.
Yes, how it's
If
got all
I'm
the
gonna
different.
be nitpicky, the thing that drives me crazy is when you use a font like that
Yeah,
for
it
your
makes it
title,
harder. Yeah.
because I have to actually think about what the name of your pattern is. But that's me being super nitpicky and not at
Well,
all.
I would agree because like this one, this cardigan, uh, I don't really know. Is that supposed to be male, Nolly? Like I can't really tell what that is. So I hear what you're saying. It is a little thing though.
So the bag uses worsted weight yarn and seems to go really, really fast. It's super cute. I like that one a lot.
I
And
like
it's
that.
different ones. And then you were showing the
Well, I like the spiral hat, which has the same sort of diagonal effect that I was talking
huh?
about before. So the beauty shot doesn't really doesn't show you a ton. It gives you sort of an overall look, and this is done in a worsted weight yarn.
There are
Um,
two other shots though. There's this one
yeah.
that shows you the back crown,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's another one that shows you a farther outside.
So
It's sitting pretty far back on her head.
yeah, and it looks a little looser than I would probably make it, but um, it tells you how to because it's designed as a slouch, but it tells you here, oh, if you want to make it a beanie instead of a slouch, do this.
Okay, and it also comes in three sizes. So there's an
Mm-hmm.
18 inch, a 20 inch, and a 21 inch.
Um,
Um, but it's not. It's actually using like very little negative ease. So that's if you used more negative ease, it would hug your head a little bit better.
yeah,
Although with those slip stitches, you're not going to get a lot of
yeah,
stretch.
that is a.
So that might be part of it
It's
as
very
well.
similar to Fair Isle in that respect, is you're not going to get a ton of stretch in there. This Volna scarf is the picture that I was showing earlier. It's just, I don't know, something about it looks magical to me. I really want to make, even if it's just a swatch of that pattern, because it just looks
Interesting, yeah.
really cool. Um,
Next, we have fancy slip stitches, which
hmm
are really interesting as well. I don't know how I feel about this vest. I kind of like it. It's like the K, I think that's an AVA vest. But I feel like where it closes, I would like to see. Is there a picture of it open, maybe without
there's a
the?
picture of it from the back. It's knit sideways.
There it is, open. So it's interesting. Large armholes,
Yeah.
but it'd be a good layering piece. I feel like, and with it being slip stitch, it'd be nice and warm. And there's slip stitch bands on the front.
I like this. I really am not. Zlaki Dace cowl. I'm sorry, that name is not something I know how to pronounce. But it's got a cool. It almost looks stretchy, although I don't know that it would be. Um,
Yeah, they're
Patterning to
open.
it, and it's got several pictures, so it's done in two different shades of yellow, and they're joined together.
Oh, I like the reversible slip stitch section. I always like reversible stuff. There's some cute boot cuffs in here,
Hmm.
especially the Jelinka boot toppers. Super cute. That pattern reminds me of the dishcloth pattern a lot
Hmm.
that you see.
Yep.
But it's really cute. I'm now that I wear more of the upper boots, I really like the idea of boot cuffs. I think they're cute. And they use up very little yarn, so you could use up scraps very easily. This does only have one circumference, so if it's not stretchy, that could be a little bit of an issue, but very, very cute.
I like the Siska hat, and it's actually fully reversible. So here's It's got those diagonal floats that I like so much, but it also shows you a picture of the inside with the floats and then the inside where it's just got sort of a basket weave texture.
Yeah. It's very cool.
Yeah. And the last item is a vest. It's a Sarin vest, and it's got several different sizes, and it's meant to be worn open and loose.
Oh, I thought that was a scarf at first.
Yeah, I did too, which I think is a really cool design element.
So that's the front.
And then this is the back. So it ties to the vest only in the neck.
The back neck area.
Yeah. And then the rest of it is open, which I like. I think that's pretty neat.
There's a better. Yeah, that's cute. Very cute.
And then in the back, it's got a couple of how-tos for, technique-oriented things.
Drafting, seaming.
So,
there's translations of pronunciations of the Russian and Czech titles used in the back.
Oh, sorry.
Awesome.
My bad.
Awesome. Well, that's good to know. And it's also got a bibliography of where she got the stitch patterns from. So that's interesting to know as well. If you're looking for...
now I feel like a jerk. I should have read this before.
some additional stitch patterns. Interesting. So this is the art of slip stitch knitting. I think it would be great if you were looking to design some more with slip stitch knitting. But also if you enjoy the patterns, there's some great patterns in here as well.
And you can check them out on Ravelry.
Sweaters to accessories. So lots of variety as well.
So, the art of slip stitch knitting, you can get it $26.99 in the US, $29.99 in Canada.
Yep. For sure.
I really want to try out that diagonal weave thing. I think that's really cool.
I think that is very cool. So we have some questions to answer. We have two because they were kind of short. So, and they were both addressed to Leslie, but I'll answer the second one as well. So the first is from Nature Kitty. She says, "You don't call me Les. What the heck is that red garment sticking out on the shelf behind you? A shawl? Please show or talk about it. My friend Lindsay Fett and I talk about it all the time."
Okay, so this is going to make me sound like a jerk. I designed it, but I can't remember the name of it.
And you never released the pattern, right?
I never released the pattern because I've never had it tech edited. And I need a tech editor because I ramble when I design patterns. Because it's not really my thing. But, so I designed it out of unwind yarn, and Dana named it, and it's something to do with poppies.
The middle color is something to do with...
Well, I mean, that's the name of the pattern is something to do with poppies. Hang on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So...
Or maybe they might be talking about your red... I wonder if it's that, or if they're talking about the red blanket behind you.
No, it says on the shelf behind me.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Repetitions, they're so tricksy.
So this is a center out... I didn't design this one big enough to be a shawl. This one's more like baby blanket size. But I used short rows. I use short rows a lot when I design, which again isn't often. But to give it sort of a wavy effect on the corners and in the center here. I don't know that anybody's ever really expressed an interest in the pattern, so that's why I guess that's part of the reason I've never knit it up. But yeah, these are all unwind colors. This is poppies.
Is it Leslie's poppies? Something
No,
new?
I don't think so. I don't remember the colors. I am terrible. And
you can always contact Dana online, and she
yes,
probably remember what they are.
I searched our show notes, but I can't find it. So it might have been on an episode when like Laura was here, or I was there and we recorded and we didn't have show notes. Maybe somebody remembers.
That'd be fabulous. Jess might remember. Jess remembers things.
She does remember things. She's got a mind like a steel trap, that one. So it could easily be adapted to heavier weights, and I had all intentions of doing heavier weights and multiple weights when I put it out, and it just never happened. It looks really cool like that, actually.
I like it. Yeah.
So the answer is I don't know exactly. I can't remember what it's called.
Well, but she asked if it was a shawl or something else, and it's kind of a shawl. It's more
intended,
of a baby blanket.
yeah, it's a baby blanket, but it was intended to be released in multiple sizes. That was a fingering weight. The larger sizes would be good for a shawl. So the next question is from Iggy Star.
Who saw you at Rhinebeck, apparently.
Yeah. She says, does it weird you out when knitting strangers bum rush you in enthusiasm at festivals? Thanks for being such a good sport. My first Rhinebeck and my excitement was on 11. I didn't think perhaps my approach could have been more subtle and suave instead of, it's Leslie. I would say it doesn't weird me out. It always surprises me because I never, this is going to sound like false modesty, but I truly don't expect people to know who I am. I'm always happy to meet people and like see what they bought and is this your first festival and who's with you and where are you from and all that sort of thing. And I always feel awkward because they say, oh, it's Leslie or whatever. So I say, hi, my name is Leslie. And clearly they know who I am. But I feel like I would like to know who you are,
Yeah, sometimes that's a good reminder because y'all get so excited, which is amazing. And you come up and you start chatting, but you don't introduce yourself. Yeah. So I have, if I know you, that's... Like, I know you, but if I like to put names with, so the cool thing about meeting people in general is like we kind of know how many people watch the show. We know how many people download it a week. We know how many people are in the Ravelry group, but that's just numbers. Yeah. And so when we get to meet people at festivals, you become people. Yes. And that part's the best part.
Sometimes people who scare the crap out of us.
More so Leslie than me. Or Mama Linneman. Mama Linneman's like, who are you? Why are you talking to me? Oh, you're one of those people. Okay. But it's cool to make the numbers become humans, if that makes sense. So we love meeting people at festivals. I only ask that people don't grab us, which is kind of common sense, but being grabbed from behind or something, that's like my own personal...
Stranger danger.
Yeah, thing that freaks me out. So, but if you say my name, I'm going to turn, typically, unless I'm lost in my own la la land, which happens quite a bit. So, then go, hey, you. I'm used to people tapping me. I work in a middle school. It's like the middle school code of getting attention is to tap on a teacher. But yeah, I love meeting people.
Never feel awkward about coming up to say hi. I've had several people over the years who have said, oh, I've seen you here and here, but I always was, didn't want to come up and introduce myself or interrupt or whatever.
No,
I say interrupt because if you're with, if Laura and I are together especially, our friends are going to desert us anyway. So
they don't have time for our stalkers, is what they tell us.
But interrupt us because, you never know how, I don't know. I always vote for introducing yourself and saying hi because it makes some really cool connections and I wouldn't know half the people I know if it weren't for the podcast, not because those people came up to me necessarily, but because of the podcast when I've gone to different events or whatever and I've run into people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there's any wrong way to do it. Just be courteous and introduce yourself and, have a conversation.
Definitely come up and say hi.
Yeah.
I love it when y'all come up and say hi. And like I said, it puts numbers into faces, so that's always fun.
It's actually better for me one-on-one with people. I am far more likely to sit and chat and have a conversation with you one-on-one than if you find me at a podcast or meetup or something, because then there's too many people and I can't give anyone one-on-one time.
That's true. Podcasts or meetups are great for getting pictures.
Yeah.
And short conversations, but they're hard for longer, in-depth conversations. Because there's so many people waiting.
6,
28, are you counting? 30, can I count 2? 272.
Nope, I got 32.
All right, so what are you reading or listening to?
I am reading Smut.
Awesome.
Although I did start reading Neil Gaiman's Unnatural Creatures, which is not by Neil Gaiman. It's actually a collection of short stories that he curated.
Hey, Neil Gaiman's got a new spinning book out, FYI. tale that has spinning in it.
Oh, I was
I'm
like,
gonna find it right now.
Neil Gaiman is a spinner? This is
Yes,
news.
Neil Gaiman is spinner. No, he's got a new book that includes spinning in it.
Oh,
A new kid's
neat.
book. Let me
Um,
find it.
that is not
It
what I
might be
needed.
on. He's got Mouse Circus too. So
So I've been reading that. I read some of the new Jenny Lawson Furiously Happy last night. And I'm still listening to. Um, oh, I'm
The
not listening to
Sleeper and the
Crown.
Spindle
Oh,
is what it's called.
well, now I'll read it just because it has a spindle.
You may think you know. It's got a spindle on the cover too. You may think you know the story. There's a young queen about to be married. There are some good, brave, hardy dwarves, a castle shrouded in thorns, and a princess cursed by a witch. So rumor has it to sleep forever. But no one is waiting for the noble prince to appear on his trusty seat here. This fairy tale is spun with a thread of dark magic, which twists and turns and glints and shines. A queen might just have to prove herself a hero if a princess needs rescuing. In this captivating and darkly funny tale, Neil Gaiman and Chris Riddle I like Chris Riddle, have twisted together the familiar and the new, as well as the beautiful and the wicked, to tell a brilliant version of Snow White's sort of and Sleeping Beauty's almost stories.
Hmm.
I bought it for the library. I haven't looked at it yet. It's been sitting there, but book fair.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
but it just came out. I feel like, and he's
I
amazing.
I do like Neil Gaiman, and in fact, while you're talking about what you're reading, I'm going to do a link for my favorite short story of all time is by Neil Gaiman, and it's called Other People.
Oh
Um,
yeah, you've talked about it before.
yeah, so I am going to link to a video of him reading it
I
in
love
a
when she does this for
bookstore.
news. Mm-hmm.
It's short, it's like 7 minutes long. But I really like every few months I'll go and rewatch it or reread the story because it is concise and it is the truth and it just hits home. So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm gonna link that while you talk about what you
Okay.
are.
So I should have grabbed it. I just finished Six of Crows, which is a fabulous book. It is by one of my favorite YA fantasy authors, who's Bardugo. She wrote a series a little while back that it was a trilogy. It was like Shadow and Bone was the first one, and she writes really good fantasy. It's definitely her stuff's more violent, and it does typically have sex in it, so it's definitely like upper
Mm-hmm.
YA. Like I would say 13, 14 would be as low as
Young,
I would
yeah.
go age wise. This one is about a group of people led by like a thief lord, and they have to try to steal this person out of this ice kingdom. And there's a lot of, but it goes through different points of view. So like each character has their own point of view. So chapters written in different
Mm-hmm.
points of view of these like six main characters. So it's really interesting. It does have a little twist at the end, which I always appreciate. And of course, it leaves off and like something just happened, and I'm like, but what's gonna happen next? And now I have to wait for forever because it just came out.
Oh, I
So
hate that. Yeah.
it came out September 29th, so it's gonna probably be a year before the next one comes out. But I really like how she writes. It's a great one. It does have two of the main characters had been captured as slaves and were forced to work in like a brothel type thing.
Oh.
So it does have like that. So it is definitely more mature, but really, really good. I keep hoping that they'll make her books into a movie because they are good. Better than like Maze Runner. So
I'll have to try it out.
I like her stuff. And then I've also been reading some adult fantasy by Melissa McShane. I've been reading, let's see, I think I read everything by her. Oh no, she just had a new one come out. Awesome. So this week I've read The Servant of the Crown, The Smoke Scented Girl, and or is it Ambassador? Let's see. Emissary. So I've read all three. True fantasy, really good. Rider in the Crown came out just a few days ago. So I will have to pick that one up as well. Servant in the Crown was the first one that I read, and it is about a girl who, let me see if I can even remember. All those fantasies blur together.
Yeah, they do.
So she's the Countess of Waxwold, and she is super content with just being kind of a helper in her father's publishing business. But the queen sends for her to be a lady in waiting to her mother. And the very first like ball that there's held, the prince says something to her about basically having his way with her, and so she slaps him in front of everyone. And
Oh
so,
no, he didn't.
so in order to kind of let it blow over, the queen orders her to go out, the two of them to go out together, so people can see that there's no hard feelings. And so they but in the meantime, she's like, what's going on with this library? There's this library and it's been kind of locked away and she's not allowed to check out any of the books from it. And there's this librarian who just refuses to let a woman come in. So there's that. There's some political intrigue. There's love, of course. But it's really, and then a twist that you didn't see coming. I love books with twists.
I do too.
So it's a good one. It's definitely a protagonist that is not perfect in every way, definitely has some flaws.
Oh, Laura loves a flawed protagonist.
Ew, I love a flawed protagonist. A flawed, strong protagonist is my favorite. So, yeah, it's a good one. I enjoyed it. The second one has nothing to do with the two main characters in this one. It's like a prequel. So I've been kind of putting off getting that one. I've been reading her other books that are not set in that same world. Smokes and a Girl is about a guy who's kind of like the best magician in town, but he's super young and they're at war, and there's these random fires that are happening throughout the land, and they think it's a spell, but it's really this girl who's been cursed. It's very like King Arthur almost. And Emissary reminds me of that's more of like mythology one. So the like ghost hunter mythology. So they're all fantasy, but they're all very different. So I'm enjoying her stuff. She only has 4 books published, and they're super affordable, like $4.99 and $3.99 and $2.99 for things that are like 300 or 400 pages and very no glaring errors grammatically. So well written. So well priced and well written. You can't beat that. Amazon. Anyway, things we have coming up and favorite things. I will be at SAF on Saturday. I'm taking a class with Franklin Habit on photography, so that will be super fun. And I'll get to hang out with some wonderful people. I told Amy of Ross Farms her socks are still sitting over here, and I was like, man, and I keep forgetting about them because they're out of my sight line. I was like, man, I'll mail them to you Tuesday. And she's like, or I'll see you Saturday and you can just bring them. So I'll be doing that.
That's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. I forgot that I would see her, so now I'm super excited. So, and I'm going to see my grandmother, which makes me also super excited. Yeah, my grandmother flew down to spend time with my parents.
That's pretty
so she's
great.
staying with my parents, so that's really awesome. So I'll see her.
And generational picture.
The 3 of us, the 3 oldest people. No, like my mom's the oldest in her family, and my grandmother was the oldest.
And you're the oldest
and I'm
sibling.
Oldest.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It's all the oldest siblings.
Do it.
My grandmother, actually, my great uncle is only 10 years older than my mom. And my aunt, my mom's youngest sibling, is only 10 years older than me. It's very generational. Blurring the lines. So SAF is gonna be awesome, and I can't wait. This is my first time going, so I can't wait to see the venue. They moved the venue a little bit. It's where the tractor show used to be. So there used to be all these signs at SAF saying this is not the tractor show, but they took over the area that the tractor show was. So that'll be fun. I pre-ordered my goat milk fudge, which I'm super excited about.
Whatever makes you happy, dude.
It's gonna make me superbly happy. And I can't wait to see everyone there. And Leslie might send me on some errands to buy some stuff.
Yeah, I gotta look at the vendor list.
Too. And class with wrinkle and habits is going to be amazing. I have a new iPhone that I kind of got so I could take good pictures at Franklin Habits class. But also I'm going to take my big camera as well. And maybe a design that I'm working on, if I can get it done in time to photograph there, that would be fab. And that's about it for SAF. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see everyone. So that'll be fun. We have the Halloween Craft All the Things going on. That will be going on until next Sunday. We'll close it next Sunday night and draw for it the following week.
Yep.
Some of the awesome prizes we have are a bat from Joanna Springs in Goblin Goo, this cool bag from Nitty Kitty Bags, a skein of yarn from Pecora Yarns in the fall maple colorway.
So
and then you have something
pretty.
Too, right? You got something from someone last week, right?
Yes, I got something from A Riot of Color.
That's right.
That's the petunias in the bulky BFL base.
Cool.
And then we have a couple of folks like Boston Jen who are going to donate some patterns as well. So.
Oh, fun. Super fun.
Yeah.
So we do have 2 giveaways from last week.
Oh, yeah, we do, don't we?
We have a Gail's Art Club giveaway, which is super fun.
And it's the last spot because she reached 100%.
Yes, she reached 100. Like, this is the 100th spot. So we have...
today is Suze's 18-year wedding anniversary.
Really?
Happy anniversary,
Wow.
Suze.
My parents just had their 38th wedding anniversary this past week.
That is a lot.
So every 5 years they go someplace cool, and I'm trying to convince them for their 40th that they should go to Iceland. Because that sounds amazing. But I think they're going to go to New Zealand and Australia again, which would also be amazing.
Better. Yeah.
I think both those places are equally amazing.
Let's do the Gales one first.
Okay. So it is between, I don't know, because I got off there.
2 and something.
2 and 308. Let me lock it. Okay. Oh, there's so many pretty cookies and such.
All right, so
all the cookies.
Generate a number. It is number 287. So it's not the last page, but the one before it.
Awesome. Okay. Sherbert cannot find my page. Come on, Sherbert. Come on, Ravelry.
Don't fail on me now.
It was down earlier for me. Let me try. It was what number?
287.
287 is Kitchen Sink 13.
Sweet.
So Kitchen Sink 13, I'm just going to go ahead and write down her name so I can email it to Gail.
Mm-hmm.
Kitchen Sink 13, 1 Gales. And then we have another giveaway. What was her favorite recipe? Now I have to see. Classic Spritz cookies. What are these?
What's a Spritz cookie?
I don't know. I'm like, oh, they're it's like a cookie disc cookie. Like you make them in the press.
Oh, okay.
So you can serve them plain. It's kind of like almost like a sugar cookie almost. But you need a cookie press to do it. So it's made of flour, baking powder, butter, sugar, egg, milk, vanilla extract, and almond extract.
I like all of those things.
I do too. And you can also make coconut Spritz cookies. And she linked a thing from Wilton, a recipe from Wilton.
Sweet.
Awesome.
So our other prize was for?
The Scano pattern kit.
Yes. It is. Here. It was for the tapestry knitting shawl.
Uh-huh.
In the blues and purples.
And you have this, so they need to contact you.
So you need to PM me if you win.
That's Leslie.
You don't call me Les. And sometime in the next week or 2, I'll get it out.
Yeah.
So between number 2 and what?
208.
2 and 208.
Yep.
All right, so generate 193. That's also not the last page, but the page before.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is weird that we got them so close like that.
Let's see. K-Par 62. Likes the Arabella kit either in purples, which how can you go wrong with purple, or marigolds.
Yeah, I think Arabella is the one that I got. Yep.
Very cool.
So, sweet. Well, you're not going to get Arabella, but you'll get Tapestry.
Is that coupon code still good for
Yes,
them?
the coupon code is good until December 1st. And that's
Cool.
girls with 5 L's, and that'll get you 10% off anything on Skino's website. Not including
You can
shipping.
only use it once. Doesn't
Right.
include shipping.
All the details are in the giveaway thread.
Can only be used once per customer. Cannot be used in conjunction with any other giveaways. Has no cash value. Not valid on previous purchases. All those typical things that, happen. So, we do have a giveaway. I love this yarn for Ancient Arts this week.
Yes.
So Ancient Arts was kind enough to send Leslie and I a skein of yarn, and then they sent y'all a skein of yarn. So I picked out for mine Cheshire Cat, because y'all know I love Alice in Wonderland. Look, there's a Cheshire Cat. And it's purples. I don't know. And this is 100% superwash blue face luster wool, and it's 437 yards. So it's hand out in Canada, but it's made, the wool itself is processed, like spun in Italy. And a portion of the proceeds of this yarn are donated by Ancient Arts to charities benefiting stray and abandoned cats. How can you go wrong? And look, this is part of the Meow collection. Look at that cat. How could you not love that cat face?
I will give that little kitty anything she asks for.
So they're big on their cats were rescued.
Mm-hmm.
So they give a portion of their proceeds from their Meow yarn collection to different charities benefiting cats. And you can find more information about that at ancientartsfiber.com/Meow collection info.
And it's not just about cats. There's dog love too. There's the Wolf collection. And a portion of the proceeds of this goes to benefit stray and abandoned dogs. But I love how they do, the different breeds have their own colorways. This is not all of them. This is just sort of a snapshot.
So I got the Cheshire Cat, which is an imaginary cat, but they also had a Maine Coon, which was really hard to decide because that's what Humberto is.
They had the Russian
tabbies,
Blue, which is, I have a Russian Blue. They had tabbies. They had Siamese.
And they had black cats.
Yep. But I ended up getting a dog one, and this one is brindle, which is, when they have the mixed colors.
That's what my brother's Great Dane is.
Yes. And this looks kind of like Neelix. He's a little more dark than my Neelix is, but he's a brindle as well. So that's what made me...
So both your dogs are brindles, correct?
Right. One of them more pronounced. The other is so dark it's hard to tell, but... so yeah, you can... Ancient Arts has so many colors. So when they sent us a message that they wanted us to pick some stuff out, it took us so long to go through because they have so many beautiful colors.
Stuff. Yep. And they have different types of yarn. That's amazing.
And a lot of it, I think all of it comes from New Zealand, but a lot of it they process from start to finish in Canada.
This one's made it. The Blue Face Luster. Which base did you get?
I got the merino nylon base.
Okay, so this one's made in Italy.
Okay, well this one is made in Canada, but they're both from New Zealand wool.
Well, they're... Okay.
Superwash merino nylon is what I got.
Okay, cool.
And mine's in brindle dog, but we also have one to give away.
Yep. So I have Le Chat Noir, which is a black cat.
Oh,
it's black.
That's such a good name.
I know, and this is the blue-faced luster as well. So we have this one to give away.
And then I have the 100% Superwash Merino DK, and this one is in all the secret places.
Oh, fun.
And this one's named after some areas where the owner used to hike with her dad.
Oh, cool.
So these are beautiful, each one of these. And this lady has the title I Want. So she sent a little letter to include, and her name is Carolyn Sommerfeld. And she's the chief yarn officer.
That's awesome.
Of Ancient Arts. I want to be the chief yarn officer. That is the best job title ever.
If we had yarn, you could be the chief yarn officer.
Yes.
But we don't.
And I would get Laura a tag that said Laura Minion.
Well.
So we have both of these.
Can I be the Minion Overlord?
Yes. I will be the puppet master. So we'll open a thread on Ravelry to give both of these away, and we'll just ask you to visit Ancient Art's website and tell us a colorway that you like. I know there's one that I still want to buy called Cross Stitch Sampler.
Oh, there's a lot that I want to buy. And the Loopy U does sell their yarn.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just got a shipment in as well.
Yes. So, the last thing we have to talk about is our Patreon.
Yes.
So anyone who doesn't know, we started a Patreon account, which basically is a way for those who can and want to financially support the podcast. It allows you to basically sign up to donate per episode, and it can be as little as $1 or as much as you want. But each level has different
prizes.
Yes, incentives.
Sort of incentives. That's a good one.
Like we have, if you donate a certain amount, then you get put in the running for a skein of handspun. If you donate a different amount, you get put in the running for a skein of yarn from our goodie box. If you donate $5 or more per episode, you get an co-executive producer tag in our episode here at the end. And Laura and I are doing this because we've had several people ask of how they can help, so this is one way. But also over the course, we've been doing this 5 years, so we've incurred a lot of cost and done it happily for equipment and supplies and stuff like that. But it's getting to the point where I have to replace certain parts of my computer so I can encode video, and we have to, we're trying to make the quality of the video better. It's difficult when we're in different states and everything has to be done over the internet. So this just helps us financially support that goal. But we also have a new goal that Laura and I have been talking about. Feel free to talk over me at any point.
No, you're fine.
So Laura and I have been throwing around this idea for at least a year, probably longer.
At least.
We want to do an additional retreat. So Laura and I host every July. We host the Super Summer Knit Together in Nashville, Tennessee.
And it breaks our hearts that we have to do like a waiting list, and not everyone who wants to can come. But we also have limitations on the amount of people can go.
And once it gets past a certain amount, then there's no hope you're going to meet everybody.
Yeah.
It gets to be more of a stitches and less of a retreat, and that's not in a negative connotation. I just mean
stitches is amazing,
right? Stitches is more like you go and you shop and maybe you meet some people, where a retreat is more centered around getting to know other people, taking classes, spending time together.
I would agree with that,
and that's what we would like to keep. So, but we've been throwing around the idea of doing an additional one, but smaller.
Yes.
And we want to do something centered around one particular teacher. Somewhere between 30 and 40, 45 people, maybe at the most. And we want to do it in Oregon.
That's the hope.
Just because. So we have a goal listed on our Patreon. We need to raise somewhere in the neighborhood of like $1,500 to go. That'll cover our airfare and accommodations while we're out there, because we have several different sites we're looking at. But we really have to visit them to be able to say...
Yeah, we're not going to put y'all someplace that we have not visited.
Yeah.
That's not us. That's not going to happen.
Because we also really need to get in front of people and say, oh no, we'll fill it. There will be crazy women here with spinning wheels or knitting needles or whatever.
Yeah.
So
you can call Scarrett Bennett. They'll let you know that we can fill.
So that's a new goal that we're putting on Patreon. And we welcome any ideas for incentives that you guys have as well. You've given us some great ideas already. We're sort of working through them slowly because
some of them we have to work on, like technical, make sure that works before we can add them.
Yes, we want to add a monthly Q&A session for anyone who donates any amount. I just have to work out the logistics of how Laura and I can both be talking to everybody at the same time. So we're working on that.
Raise enough money that we could fly me to you once a month.
That'd be great. Because then I'd get you here, and that's awesome.
And you would never let me go.
Nope, that is a fact. Tried that before, but it didn't work. So anyway, there's all that.
Please have this issue with chaining people up in your basement.
Yeah, they really.
Not letting them go.
Although as much as taxes are here, they should let me.
Tis the season to watch Silence of the Lambs.
So I think that's it. I've blabbed for a while.
Yeah, no, we have stuff to give away for the Patreon people.
Oh, yes, we do. But I don't have all those lists together,
okay.
So we can do that off air.
Let me show you what we're going to give away. Yeah. We'll do it off air and then email the winner. Or maybe let's announce it in like a thread on Ravelry, but we'll still email them, but that way it's been announced. So this is the hand spun that I'm giving away. This is Cordell from Into the World. It's a club colorway.
It's so pretty.
It's got a base of like greens and yellows with orange and like a rusty red, and it is around 300 yards of a 2-ply.
Very pretty.
So that is the first giveaway of hand spun.
And then this is the yarn, and this is from Solar Flare Fibers, and the base is Aine, A-I-N-E. It's merino cashmere nylon. It's really soft, and the colorway is called Genie.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah, it's got like this pop of like aquamarine almost, with reds and purples and sort of a bright pink back here, and there's more color hidden under the label. So we'll draw for these winners, and I'll put the announcement in the new episode title thread thing.
Sounds good.
So thank you very much to the people who have already donated to Patreon. If you can't, that's totally fine. Like, nothing's going to change for you. We're not going to take the podcast off of, free public outlets. So this is
YouTube and iTunes.
Yeah.
And
if you can help, that's fantastic. If you can't, I get it. No big deal.
It happens.
So I think that's it for real this time. And you guys have a great week, and we'll see you again on Halloween.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.